Hello everyone, this is LW Gaming and welcome to a new hero showcase. This time we're gonna showcase Rhea. Yep, it's that time again. I'm not talking about Rhea from Fire Emblem Three Houses. No, that's a different Rhea. This is the Langrisser's Rhea. But of course the spelling is not the same. The one in Three Houses is actually spelled as I think it's Rheea. I think that's what it is. Instead of the H being the fourth letter on the name, it's the second one. So yeah, but of course the pronunciation is similar, but they're not the same spelling. So yep, it's easy to differentiate the two. So anyways, let's move on to the next thing. The most important part of the video is talk about what Rhea is about. So Rhea is a AoE physical specialist, physical attacker. So yeah, her skill is shines on the AoE side of the compartment. So that means that she fits well with rushers, like AoE rush teams. And also initially, I have her at four stars as well, which is on top with alongside with Elvis. So anyways, this is what initially she has on the Glory of Dawn, which is the 4-star variant, but I believe the 3-star is the one that has like a 10% on there instead of 15, and at 6 stars is 25% maximum. Anyways, I'm gonna explain this based on the stars that she has currently, which is 4 stars. Glory of Dawn. This is her talent. Attack and defense increased by 15%. When using an active skill, gains brilliance. And this will basically reflect and immune to active skill silence for 1 turn. And this cannot be dispelled. When gaining brilliance each time, refreshes its duration and max duration by 1. by 1 additional turns. And this can be increased up to 5 turns. When dealing damage with a skill, any buffs on the caster do not lose their turn count. And can move 3 additional blocks and attack again. And the after again effect can be triggered again after 3 turns. So this can be reduced depending on star level. So at 3 stars, it will be 4 turns. And then at 5 and 6 stars, it will be 2 turns. Pretty straightforward. And that's for the factions she's part of. She's part of the same factions as Elvis, but excluding the one that's in the middle. Instead of being Dark Incarnation, she's the Strategic Masters. So anyway, she's Glory, Strategic, and Meteor. As for the skills she comes with, at the start she'll have Lightning as her first skill unlocked, and then when you upgrade it 1 time, you'll get the Oath of Eternal Daylight. This is a self-act again skill, which will help you like speed up the trigger cooldown from a talent. By the way, that's the key important part when you're using Rhea. So that way, most of the time you're always gonna have 2 actions for Rhea, which is pretty nuts. Like you may think Elvis has act again, but so is Rhea. So just keep that in mind. And this one, what this does that is an active skill, grants Oath of Eternal Daylight. When actively using an AoE skill, the skill span is increased by 1, and this will last for 2 turns, and this cannot be dispelled. If the caster has no debuffs, she can act again with remaining mobility after use, and after using the skill, any buffs on the caster do not lose their turn counts. So as long as you don't have any debuffs on you, you can perform your act again with the remaining mobility you have. And then any buffs that you have on you would not lose the turn count because you're doing act again in that case. And also there's the Blade of Darkness Flash. This is the first phase of the 2C. And by the way, this skill has no cooldown. So you can basically use this as many times as you want, which is pretty insane to think about. So like, you don't have to wait for this skill to come back. You can just use it at ease. No problem. And this will attack all enemies in 3 straight lines. And it's a 3-block radius. But however, if you combine this with an act again skill and have a balance blade, you can technically reach up to 5 blocks ahead of you, which is pretty nuts. And then this one dealing 0.15 times AoE damage and nullifies their armor skill, excluding max HP effects for 2 turns. If the target is a non-player hero, this effect instead reduces defense by 25% for 2 turns. After using the skill, switches to Blade of Darkness Judgment, which I won't be able to show you what this skill does because we cannot see that skill since it is a secondary skill. I wish Zilong could allow us to see what that secondary skill does in the description, but it is what it is, I guess. She also comes with the passive skill called the Wind Pressure, which is pretty common for other flyers in the game. After these, as you can see, it will deal AoE damage, which is not much, but it is enough to do some havoc, of course. And of course, since she also comes with a flyer, she also has Wind Whisper, which is an active skill that you can use to AoE one ring around yourself. Raging Thunder, why not? And also she has infantry class, she comes with Reinforcement, which is a really good passive skill for budget build, of course. And Air Slash is also an option if you want to attack someone, like at least one unit from a distance. Now for the classes, she is a flyer at default, and then you can build her continuously on the flyer class, or you can switch her up to infantry. And some maybe asking which class does she work best at? Well, it's actually based on your preference. So if you build her as a flyer, her best weapon is Scarlet Reaper. But if you go for infantry, her best weapon is obviously Balance Blade. So yeah, you have 2 options to go for. Whether you want to go for extra fixed damage, go for flyers with a Scarlet Reaper as the combo. Or if you want to go for bigger AoE radius, you go for infantry. But however, this will actually sack some of your mobility because infantries don't move that far. So to make up for that, you're gonna need to slot in the wings or the boots, depending on your preference. I think the best accessory for infantry is, of course, using the wings. And yes, don't forget the wings are actually still a thing in the game. So yeah, anyways, as you can see here, this is what you get. So at the beginning, you'll unlock this when you upgrade it once, which is her unique act against skill. Wind Pressure on the fire route, and then for the final class, you'll unlock Wind Whisper and Raging Thunder. And then if you go for infantry, you'll unlock her AoE attack. And if you go you go all the way down to the final class, you'll unlock the Reinforcement passive and the Air Slash active skill. And now for the classes, as you can see here, this is the stones I go with. The same 3 set as the Elvis one. As you can see, using HP, defense, and attack. And as for the arena stones, I go for the same thing to ensure that she does not die too quickly. And then for soldier option, I went with Royal Cavalry because this soldier is pretty good for like keeping her alive. But of course, you have other soldier options if you choose to, like such as Steel Wing Warriors. But if you want to go for like full defensive, or I just say keeping her alive as long as possible, go for Royal Cavalry and have her infantry if you preferred her to be like a bigger AoE radius. But if you want extra damage, then the fixed one should probably be the one you should go for. But you will have to use different soldier if you want to fully take advantage of her flying movement. Basically, any soldier that flies will work. But I think the best ones you can use are Holy Pegasus or Steel Wing Warriors, or even Angels, depending on your choice. And then here are my infantry build. Of course, since this is like a short-legged unit, I had to use Breeze to make up for it, make up for the mobility that she was meant to have. So this build allows her to be able to reach the other side relatively fast, I think. So anyways, Balance Blade is the one I run with on her because extra AoE range is better, extra AoE spam I mean. And then Tiamat's Blessing, since my build has like a separate like a soldier, basically herself is infantry while the soldiers are cavalry. This will go pretty well against magic units, like when they're attacking you. But most of the time you don't want her to be attacked. like again, I think most of the units that's in the game are magic based, so having Tiamat's Blessing on her is going to be an ideal choice against those opponents. An Inferior Tier, no brainer, because this allows her to deal a lot more damage. And also, if they attack her for whatever reason, she can use Superior Tier to counterattack with more damage. And then of course the wings allow her to move further than she normally would. And then for the Awakening, her 3C is an AoE attack. That's like a 1 ring around her. But however, if you combine this with like an Act Again that I mentioned earlier, this could increase it up to 3 rings if you combine it with Balance Plate and the Act Again skill. And the passive on this one is that when possessing Brilliance and forced into combat, or forced into battle, she will attack first. And then after battle, recovers 20% HP of damage dealt. And the physical damage on here is that it deals 0.36 times AoE damage to all enemies within 1 ring range. And then before dealing damage, for each turn of Brilliance, steals 1 buff from each target hit, which is random by the way. Up to 3 buffs can be stolen. If duration is not less than 5 turns, changes the maximum duration of Brilliance to 1 turn, and gains after dealing damage, instantly kills enemies with HP below 15% for 2 turns, and this cannot be dispelled. In non-PvP modes, replaced with deals fixed damage equal to 20% of the target's lost HP, and this ignores immunity, up to 5 times of caster's attack. Yikes, so if you're playing this in PvP and if you see Rhea doing this skill, pray that your HP don't go below that percentage, because if that's happening, you're pretty much dead. There's no survival on that. Unless it's a tank that has revive, that is. But yeah, what do I think about this skill? Pretty nasty if used right. Yeah. Anyways, this is what her animation looks like when you activate the 3C. Looks pretty intimidating, to say the least. Okay, let's start the stages. So right away, as you can tell, I'm infantry here. Normally people would run flyers for her, but for me, I want her to be like large AoE possible. So yeah, Rhea will be like infantry for now, along with cavalry, to allow her to sustain much more. And her opponents are Esching, Hoffman, and Broken Wing Bird, or known as Hibiscus. So let's start the battle. Defeat all enemies. And since this is just a typical battle, I'm just going to do this. Taking her out immediately. And I got Act Again because because of the talent. But I'm not gonna use this Act Again just yet. I'm gonna use this to reposition. I'm just gonna station right here for now. I just need to get that trigger cooldown removed as soon as possible. And here we go. We're going to attack this right on here. Just gonna attack Hoffman directly using Air Slash. Yeah, that shield is not gonna do anything. Let's see, I gotta make sure the danger zone isn't too close here. Just gonna stay here. Alright, let's do this, let's do a trick here. We're going to use Act Again here. Oh dang, okay, that was not good. But I mean, I forced the NPC to attack me head on though. Man, that is just too funny. Not something what I expect, but hey, it works, I guess. I'm just gonna attack close range. Get the shield out here. Sadly, I won't be able to showcase her AoE here, but next round we will be able to. So let's get to that. Oh man, I don't have enough of this. Let me try to grind something here. Okay, well maybe we don't have to because we still have some chances here. Oh, I was wrong. I'll get some resources from the rifts. That should be enough, but I'm gonna do all of it just in case. Because you never know who other characters may need this later on. I'm gonna do the same thing for this one too. Even though we do have enough of this, best to get prepared instead of like unprepared, of course. Oh, insufficient stamina. Alright, let's move on. Stage 2. Okay, here's stage 2. We're fighting against a flyer Reah. So our teammates we have here are Elvis as a demon, Jace as a mage, and Tabris as a flyer, of course. So this one we'll just attack them head on. So let's see how it's gonna work. But if that doesn't work, we'll play it safe. Okay, we're going to let's see. What shall we do? We can just do this. Yeah, sadly the wings doesn't really take advantage on the act again. Okay, that's one hit, and then we can go again for another hit. Like this. Look how much damage am I dealing here. Like, this is not even funny at this point. And sadly I won't be able to reach that far, so I'm just gonna move back a bit so they cannot AoE us. But however, I'm a little worried about Rhea doing the AoE here because she could pretty much reach us if she likes. Okay, so yeah, making her stealth is not going to do much either, so I'm having to think of what to do here. Yep, I think Rhea's going to die here, which is whatever. Oh, or not yet. Oh, he silenced himself. Oh, that's funny. Ouch, man. Oh my goodness.
慈悲と暴虐は同じ道を歩む。お前にふさわしいし。エグロスの花が散る。慈悲と暴虐は同じ道を歩む。
I'm just gonna move away. No need to get up close here.
わかったわかった。
共通の意志を実行する。苦しみの
いたたた。張り切りすぎたかな。リラックスリラックス。
Okay, Tabris is still untargetable.
わかったわかった。
For us.
エムゾスの意志を見よ。
Okay, we can just go here to make sure he doesn't
リ
get
ラックスリラッ
targeted.
クス
And then we're going to... Okay, we cannot AoE here because the targeting thing is really messing us up.
共通の意志を実行する
We can only attack Tabors here.
苦しみの中で目覚める犠牲は決して無駄ではない
これが
And then he kind of shows himself. Pretty funny. So yeah, that's it for that. So let's check out Rhea's 3C. Here it is. Winding Aether Bow. Okay, we're gonna replace that Air Slash for that skill. There we go. And let's take her to battle test and I'll be right back. Setting everything up.
慈悲と暴虐は同じ道を歩む
Okay, here we are into the
Akatsuki-no-ken wa
battle
yuruganai.
test. So now let's check out what Rhea is about. So, anyways, we'll do this
王
first.
国の意志を目撃せ
Give
よ
her a bit of a buff that she needs,
ひるむな暁の剣は揺るがない
and then we'll be able to hit all these at once.
進めひるむな
Disables their armor,
暁の剣は揺るがない
and then I'm gonna AoE like this. Look at how big this is. We'll combine with Balance Blade and and that 1C skill. Like, look at how big is that, man?
王国の意志を目撃せよ
Like, Jesus.
エムゾスの意志を見よ
Absolutely nuts.
悪を滅ぼして正義を示
Also,
し
I'm
ま
gonna backtrack that for a bit. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but look at the appearance between the two. Like, between my own character, like Sakura, the avatar that I use, and the new character Rhea. They look kind of similar, but they're not the same blue hair tone. I should say the hair color. It's not the same blue, but it's kind of resemblance of that somehow.
慈悲と暴虐は同じ道を歩む
Yeah, as you can tell, she is absolutely nuts.
次の作戦指揮を許可する
And there's more I would like to show here.
Mio.
Hold on one sec.
三千と輝く勝利次の作戦指揮を許可する
I don't know why I used that skill, but I'm gonna act again Rhea here.
エムゾスの意志
ひるむな暁の
And
剣
watch
は
this.
揺るが
I'm
な
going
い
to use the secondary 2C skill, which I'm gonna explain what this does, even though we can't really see it through the menu. So this is what it does. This attacks attacks all enemies in one straight line, and it's a 3 blocks range like normally would do. And the multiplier is 0.15. When attacking, teleports to the furthest block within the skill's range and casts Sword Dance. After use, switches to Blade of Darkness Flash. And if this skill hits an enemy, gains an additional 1 stack of Brilliance.
王国の意志を目撃せよ進め
So yeah, that's actually pretty nuts. You can literally destroy the whole team with this. But however, that 3C part, I think this only activates if it's like... Hold on, let me look at this. Okay, so let me try it this way. Let me backtrack all the way to the very beginning. Like this. Instead of using a 3C right there, I
慈
think
悲と
I'll
暴虐は
try to do something
同じ
different.
悪を滅ぼして正義を示します
So like perhaps I should probably give a little hand here. Perhaps something like this. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should just do it like this, so that way it will still hit the 4 targets, but not all of them though.
王家方針
エムゾスの意志を見よ
ひるむな
Okay.
暁の剣は
Let's
揺るが
try
な
the
い
same strategy as before. We'll do this.
進めご指導賜ります
I'm just testing and see if this will yield a different result.
ひるむな暁の剣は揺るがない
Okay, someone is already below that percentage. So let me try to see what happens if you do it like this.
進め
Huh, interesting. So it doesn't really kill them right away. But if I stand like that, okay, so that doesn't kill them. Huh, something's off with that. But hold on, I might have missed something here. Let's see. Okay. To 1 turn, huh? Let's see. Brilliance. Okay, so yeah, that did not occur, so that means that that instant kill like that is not going to be effective here. So yeah, I don't think that's broken, but it's just that if it reaches on that condition, which is pretty rare, Rhea can pretty much kill anyone with anybody with a blade tree below that amount. Like that's pretty nasty, don't you think? So anyways, let's end the battle here and then I want to see. I just want I'll share you. I will tell you guys how I feel about this character, and I'll be right back. Okay, here we're back, and how I feel about Rhea. She's absolutely a must-have because she does bring a lot of value to your roster when it comes to PvP. And when I was when I was in the VC earlier in Mystery Guild, so now is already going crazy with her. Like she's already built at 5 stars. Like I'm not even kidding. Like she does shake the meta in a lot of ways. Like her with an AOE that large, like you can imagine how terrifying she is when you're fighting against her. So yep, that's Reah for you. She's basically an AOE specialist that hits pretty large, and also if you use her as a flyer, she's gonna be able to do a lot of work with the Scarlet Reaper as her weapon. But if you go for infantry out like me, you will be able to hit more units at once with the balance blade, of course. Anyways, it's totally up to you how you're gonna build her. Because if you want her to do more damage, then I'll go for flyer class. But if you want to do like big AOE, then go for her infantry class and give her balance blade. So yep, that's it for this video. So let me know in the comments below how you feel about this character. So far, I've been enjoying using her because she kind of reminds me of Sakura 2.0 in some ways. But of course, they're not the same character. Just the same. But it's just that their appearance are kind of resemblance of each other somehow. And anyways, see you all next time for more. Yep.